Hey guys, it's me again. It's a little bit past midnight, and I think it's probably not a good idea to be talking very loudly, so I apologize already for the soft voice. Um, Based on the title, you probably already know what this video is going to be about. I don't take notes when I'm in lectures or tutorials. There you go, I said it. I passed medicine, by the way, like I'm almost done. So it works for me, might not work for you. So let's find out why. First things first, I just want to clarify the fact that I don't think notes are bad. If you're a note taker and you feel like notes are helping you, keep at it. I think that's a very good way of learning. It involves a lot of your senses, your tactile senses, your visual, auditory, and it just involves a wider array of your brain than just listening would. In fact, if you can handwrite your notes, that will probably be even better. But I understand typing is a lot faster than writing, but so be it. Why don't I take notes? Why don't I write anything down when I'm listening to a lecture or if I'm listening to someone in a tutorial? The main reason being that I actually do not benefit from notes whatsoever. In fact, I've done multiple instances of sort of, I guess, case report on myself, where I tried taking notes during a lecture to see how well my retention of the lecture content was. And in every single instance, my retention was worse. In fact, I came out of the lecture worse off than I would have if I just sort of sat there, hands crossed or hands on the sides, listening to what the guy has to say. That's just me. I have a very sort of tunnel vision kind of thing. I can either listen to you or I can type. And that's just something that really defines who I am. I tried typing once. For example, if you go into any medical, especially first year, first semester medical student lecture, everyone has their laptop out. Everyone is fixated on what the other guy is typing. If the other guy is taking pictures and uploading that into their OneNote or into their Notion file or whatever, the next guy will do that. Just sense of a chain reaction. It's hilarious to watch, but I find it, yeah, it just happens and you just have to deal with it to an extent, I guess. But I couldn't do that. Like, that's just not me. I can't just do something for the sake of doing it. Like, a fair few of these people who were taking these notes were taking the notes just for the sake of taking notes. I don't think they were retaining anything because they were not actually paying attention to anything that the lecturer was actually saying. And that's, I think, a little bit sad. But yeah. This problem also kind of potentiates itself when we do these clinical scenarios. We have an assessed clinical scenario in Australia, at least, called OSCEs. This is where the patient is going to be a simulated person. This could be a doctor, it could be anyone. And then you'll have the medical student who's being assessed play the role of a doctor. In these situations, it's extremely important for you to basically behave like a doctor would. And sometimes I actually help out by being a simulated patient myself. And many times I'll find first year medical students, second year medical students, even third year medical students just fixating on their little clipboard, making sure they're ticking every single little box when they're talking to me. So much so that very often I get no eye contact with them. So they're so fixated on actually getting their clipboard right that they're not actually communicating with the patient. Now, this is a problem because when you become a real doctor, when you go into the clinical setting, the vast majority of your contact with the patient will be face-to-face, and you will be spending a lot of time talking to them. At this point in time, it's almost expected that you will be able to retain pertinent information from the patient. So if you develop this habit of writing everything down all the time and not surviving without writing it down, when you're actually talking to the patient would feel not very comfortable with you because they're like, you're not concentrating on me as the patient. You're concentrating on your clipboard. You're more interested in your clipboard than you are with me. This is especially worsened by the fact that they're often not also making eye contact with the patient. And rapport is everything. Rapport is everything. If the patient doesn't feel comfortable with you, they will not share everything with you. And if they don't share everything with you, that will grossly limit the amount of information you get as a doctor to treat the patient. Because remember, a lot of our history questions are just screening questions. They're like, every question we ask has a sensitivity and a specificity. It helps us rule in things, helps us rule out things. And if we just don't have them there anymore, our ability to diagnose just significantly reduced. So yeah, this is why I think it's important to understand that notes are good, but we should not fixate on them all the time. And it's very, very important to be taking good notes as opposed to just taking notes. Coming back to the topic of taking good notes, the thing is, a lot of people take amazing notes, but they never go back to them. And fair enough, the curriculum of medicine is humongous, and you can't ever expect to be completing everything with reasonable amount of proficiency. In fact, I don't think you can complete medicine with complete proficiency at all. You will always have gaps in your knowledge. What even was the point of those notes? At that point, I feel like you took all of this time out of your life to write these notes and you never go back to them. Many people write them down, delete them, or never care about them. In fact, this sort of goes off my video that I did earlier on, which is about how to study. Because these people were not actively involved in the note-taking process, they haven't really built a nice picture of what they're trying to learn. They've just built a scaffolding around their notes. They haven't built the house, as I like to sort of allude to in my sort of conceptual understanding videos, where the scaffolding is the stuff that you really need to know. The high yield stuff, the medium yield stuff gives you kind of like the details, the rooms, the different shapes and sizes, the tiles, the roofs, the flooring and all that. And then the low yield details, which are primarily involved in helping you understand the things on a wider conceptual basis, which helps you tie in things from different topics and allow you to really understand things through first principles, pretty much. I'm a big advocate for being able to understand the different medical concepts through first principles. I am very anti-algorithm, and sadly that is basically what I'm becoming slowly and slowly. I'm becoming extremely algorithm based, but that's just the reality of life. You often do not have enough time to sit down and go through everything by first principles with the patient. And very often than not, if you're doing that way too often, patients might die right before your eyes, before you figure what things it is that you got wrong. So that's another thing. Yeah, so just going back, I'm pretty sure my video has gone off the rails and I'm probably way off topic by this point. But yeah, I don't take notes because I don't benefit from them. I feel like the notes are detrimental to my understanding, and I am a strong proponent of not doing something for face value. If those notes are not helping me build an overall conceptual understanding or help me build a structure around which I can generate my understanding or conceptual knowledge, it's just a waste of time for me. Yeah. So remember, guys, if you are taking notes, think to yourself, is this worthwhile? Like, are you taking notes for the right reason? Are you taking notes because these notes are going to help you cement down the understanding, or are you just taking notes for face value? And secondly, OSCE tip, please don't fixate on your clipboard. If you fixate on your clipboard, you will lose rapport marks on the OSCE, because the patient is just going to feel like you care more about your clipboard than you do about them, and that's just not good. Anyway, this is a bit of a midnight rant video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, leave a comment, and do consider subscribing. I will be making more videos about tips and tricks and all the different things I did throughout medical school, which allowed me to progress to this point. And hopefully you guys find those helpful. And if you're looking forward to them, please do consider subscribing. Anyway, bye-bye for now.